All right, everyone, welcome back. Today we are taking a deep dive into the world of aircraft dispatchers with some help from our expert and RoleCatcher.
Great to be here.
So, have you ever been at the airport and found yourself just glued to the window, totally mesmerized by those planes, taking off, landing,
Yeah.
the organized chaos of it all?
Absolutely.
Well, that fascination, my friend, might mean you have a future as an aircraft dispatcher, but
Maybe.
before you pack your bags and picture yourself jet setting around the globe, we're gonna we're gonna take a deep dive, go beneath the surface with RoleCatcher, and find out what this job is really all about.
It is definitely a deep dive. Yeah, you're in for a real eye-opener. It goes way beyond just a love for aviation.
Yeah.
Think high-stakes decisions
Ooh, okay.
and a surprising amount of customer
Yeah,
service.
really.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got me intrigued and maybe just a little bit intimidated. So let's unpack this. What does RoleCatcher actually tell us about what it's really like to be an aircraft dispatcher?
Well, first of all, forget those romanticized notions of travel and adventure. You're not on the plane.
Right.
Think more like air traffic control, but behind the scenes.
Okay.
You're the unseen hand guiding those planes through the sky, making sure everything runs smoothly.
Sounds pretty high pressure from the get-go.
Right?
Now, the guy did mention something about, and I quote, irregular operations.
Yes.
What does that even mean in the world of aircraft dispatchers?
Basically, anything that throws a wrench in the gears of a normal flight. So we're talking delays, diversions, cancellations. Those are the curveballs that can turn, a routine workday into a full-blown logistical puzzle.
And the aircraft dispatcher is the one solving it.
You got it.
Okay. Talk about a job with some serious pressure. RoleCatcher definitely drives home the point that this is a role with huge responsibility. But they also highlight something else, good salary potential.
Sure.
I'm sure that helps when those irregular operations start piling up. What kind of skills, though, are we talking about here? Is it all geography and weather patterns?
You're on the right track. But it goes way beyond just knowing your way around a map. I mean, you're responsible for the safety of every single person on those planes. So we're talking critical thinking, problem solving on the fly, making, sometimes life or death decisions, and sometimes with very limited information.
Okay, you're definitely not sugarcoating it. RoleCatcher, though, gives a really great example of this in action. They talk about an aircraft dispatcher who had to think fast when a flight had a sudden engine issue over the Atlantic.
Oh, wow.
They had to use their knowledge of, get this, ETAP-PS regulations,
Yes.
which are rules about how far a twin-engine plane can be from a diversion airport,
Right.
to make a split-second decision to get everyone on the ground safely, no pressure, right?
Exactly. And, let's not forget about the communication aspect. Like, you're the central hub. You're constantly coordinating with the pilots, air traffic control, the ground crew.
So many moving pieces.
Yeah. And even sometimes you're dealing with, believe it or not, the passengers themselves.
Wait, passengers? I always thought aircraft dispatchers were kind of, I don't know, tucked away in a control tower somewhere, not interacting with the passengers.
Yeah, most of the time, yes.
Yeah.
But when those irregular operations pop up, like those massive delays, cancellations, you might find yourself on the receiving end of some, let's just say, interesting conversations
Oh, I can imagine.
with anxious and, let's be honest, sometimes frustrated passengers.
Right. So not only do you need nerves of steel, but you need a healthy dose of patience, maybe even some background in crisis negotiation.
There you go. That's a good one. The RoleCatcher Guide, they actually list customer and personal service as key skills for any successful aircraft dispatcher.
Which, when you think about it, makes sense. You are the voice of reason, even when you're not physically present. So you've definitely painted a pretty intense picture here. Stressful situations, crucial decisions, the occasional irate passenger.
It's all part of the job.
Why would anyone sign up for this? What's the upside?
Yeah, it's a fair question. But, for those who thrive under pressure, who love to kind of solve those complex puzzles and find immense satisfaction in ensuring the safe passage of hundreds of lives every day,
Yeah.
well, there's no greater feeling than knowing you're the one holding it all together.
Yeah. There's definitely a thrill to being that conductor of that aerial orchestra up there.
Keeping everybody on tempo.
Making sure everybody hits their mark, yeah. Okay, so let's say someone listening right now is hooked. This is speaking to them. What does it actually take to become an aircraft dispatcher? Give us the steps.
First and foremost, you are going to need that FAA certification.
Okay.
We're talking rigorous training, comprehensive exams, deep dive into the world of aviation regulations. It's not a walk in the park,
Right.
but it's what sets the bar for safety and professionalism in the industry.
Absolutely. So you've aced those exams, you're practically fluent in aviation jargon. What's next?
That's when things get really interesting. We're going beyond the textbooks and into those real-world skills that set those successful aircraft dispatchers apart.
I like it.
And trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye.
Okay, so we're talking about those next level skills that you don't necessarily learn sitting in a classroom. What does RoleCatcher highlight as being like essential for those serious about a career as an aircraft dispatcher?
Well, one thing that often surprises people is the importance of building a strong portfolio.
Now I know what you're thinking because I was thinking the same thing.
Okay.
Portfolio. Isn't that for like artists and designers?
Yeah,
What does that even look like for someone in, aviation?
it's a great question, and it gets to the heart of what sets a good dispatcher apart from a truly great one.
Ooh,
Think of it as a way to showcase your problem-solving prowess and your commitment to going above and beyond.
I like it. So, what kind of things would really impress a hiring manager who's like looking at an aircraft dispatcher's portfolio?
Okay, let's say you successfully navigated a really tricky situation. Maybe a flight plan had to be rerouted because of unexpected weather,
Right.
or you found some really creative solution to like a logistical nightmare during a system outage. Documenting these wins, showing how you use your knowledge and initiative to save the day, that's gold.
Oh, wow. So it's like a highlight reel of your best dispatcher moments, proving that you can handle like whatever the aviation gods throw your way.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of showcasing your commitment to continuous learning. Let's say you attended a seminar on the latest air traffic control technologies,
Okay.
or you took it upon yourself to learn a new flight planning software.
Right.
These things matter.
It's all about like demonstrating that you're not just keeping up with the industry, but you're one step ahead. Now, RoleCatcher also talks about the importance of networking for aspiring aircraft dispatchers.
Yes.
What's their advice on that front?
Networking is huge in aviation, but
Yeah.
thankfully there are tons of resources out there. Joining professional organizations like the International Federation of Air Traffic Controllers Associations,
Okay.
IFATSA,
Gotcha.
is a fantastic way to connect with other professionals, stay updated on industry trends, and even get your foot in the door for job opportunities.
It's like they always say, it's not just what you know, but who you know. Or maybe in this case, it's who knows you. Okay, so you've aced the FAA exams, you're building this impressive portfolio, you're like rubbing elbows with aviation's finest. What's next on this journey to becoming an aircraft dispatcher?
The moment of truth, of course, the interview.
And dun dun dun.
And trust me, this isn't your typical job interview.
Okay.
They're going to want to see if you can handle the pressure, think on your feet, and make those critical decisions with confidence.
Sounds intense. What kind of curveball should aspiring dispatchers like be ready for?
RoleCatcher has a whole section on this, and it's packed with insider tips.
Okay.
One thing they emphasize is the prevalence of scenario-based questions.
You mean like those what would you do if situations that are designed to make you sweat?
Exactly. They might throw you right into the thick of it, asking how you would handle a mid-flight emergency, a certain weather diversion, or even a conflict with a particularly assertive pilot.
Oh boy. So it's not just about knowing the regulations. It's about knowing how to apply them under pressure
Yes,
and maybe having a little bit of that like cool under fire demeanor.
absolutely. They want to see those critical thinking skills in action.
Mm.
How do you gather information quickly? How do you prioritize competing demands? How do you communicate effectively when the stakes are high?
I'm getting a crash course in Aircraft Dispatcher 101 just listening to this. Are there any other interview insights from RoleCatcher that our listeners should be aware of?
One thing that they highlight is that interviewers will often ask about how you handle conflict.
Which makes sense considering you're dealing with so many different personalities.
Yeah.
Pilots, air traffic control, ground crews. It's like a high-stakes orchestra, and you're the conductor up there.
That's a great analogy. They want to know that you can stand your ground while maintaining professionalism and, most importantly, ensuring a safe outcome for everyone involved.
So it's that delicate balance of technical expertise, emotional intelligence, and those all-important people skills.
It's a lot.
RoleCatcher seems to have thought of everything.
They really have. In fact, they even provide specific examples of questions you might encounter, which gives you a huge advantage going into that interview.
All right, you've officially piqued my curiosity. Let's break down some of those make-or-break interview questions, because I have a feeling these could be the difference between a welcome aboard and like, thanks, but no thanks. Okay, hit me with those curveball interview questions. What kind of scenarios might trip up even the most prepared candidate?
Well, picture this. You're in the hot seat, and the interviewer says, tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult personality, maybe an overly assertive pilot, and how you handled that situation.
Ooh, that's a tough one. They're really trying to see if you can handle the heat when things get a little, so to speak, turbulent.
Exactly. It's all about demonstrating that you can maintain your composure, communicate effectively under pressure, and ultimately put safety first, even if it means standing your ground with someone who might outrank you.
Diplomacy and a backbone. Got it.
Mm.
What other challenging scenarios does RoleCatcher highlight in their interview prep?
Another one that comes up frequently is, imagine a major weather event is causing widespread delays and diversions. How would you manage the situation? This is where your knowledge of weather patterns, aircraft performance, airport procedures, it all comes into play.
Talk about a high-pressure situation. It's like a real-life game of air traffic control chess, except the stakes are way higher.
Right. They want to see how you think on your feet, how you prioritize those competing demands, and how you make those split-second decisions that could impact the lives of hundreds of people.
It sounds like being an aircraft dispatcher is a delicate dance between confidence and humility. You need to trust your training and your instincts, but also be willing to adapt and learn from every situation.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another crucial point that RoleCatcher emphasizes, the importance of continuous learning. Even after you've landed your dream job, the learning never really stops.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of career. What does RoleCatcher suggest for staying ahead of the curve in such a fast-paced field?
They recommend a really proactive approach to professional development, attending industry conferences, taking online courses, seeking out mentorship opportunities. It's all about staying curious, seeking out new knowledge, and constantly honing your skills.
So it's not just a job, it's a commitment to lifelong learning and a passion for the ever-evolving world of aviation. It sounds like being an aircraft dispatcher is a perfect fit for someone who thrives on challenges, who loves solving complex puzzles, and finds immense satisfaction in knowing they play a crucial role in keeping the skies safe.
That's a great way to put it. It's a demanding career path, no doubt about it, but for those who are drawn to it, it can be incredibly rewarding.
Well, I have to say, this deep dive has been truly eye-opening. We've gone from those romanticized notions of airplanes and, far-off destinations to the nitty-gritty realities of regulations, certifications, those intense interview questions. But thanks to RoleCatcher, we've also uncovered the incredible skill set, the unwavering dedication, and the quiet heroism, really, that defines this often overlooked career.
It's been a pleasure sharing some insights with you today. Hopefully our listeners now have a deeper appreciation for the truly vital role that aircraft dispatchers play in the world of aviation.
I know I do. And if you're out there listening and you feel that pull towards a career that's both challenging and rewarding, well, then maybe being an aircraft dispatcher is your calling. And if that's the case, I highly recommend checking out RoleCatcher. Their platform is an invaluable resource for anyone who is serious about taking their passion for aviation to new heights.
Couldn't agree more.
So, as we prepare for landing on this episode of the Deep Dive, I'm left with one final thought for you, our listener. You've heard the ins and outs, the highs and the lows, the challenges and the rewards. Now the question is, are you ready to take on the responsibility of keeping the skies safe as an aircraft dispatcher? The answer, as always, lies within you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the world around you.